If you don't understand my pronunciation or accent, you can turn on YouTube subtitles. Thank you.
What's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. When I was in school, I wasn't even a good student, in view of the fact that I didn't get good grades. As a result, I didn't usually pass any subjects, and English was no exception. In fact, I was always bad at English. So much so that I never passed an English exam in my life throughout primary and secondary school, except for one. So I was not a successful student. On the flip side, to be honest, I didn't expect to be a good student. I had classmates who passed all their exams. They had a 100% success rate. However, I got bored extremely in English class as a child. I was constantly criticized and judged. Being criticized for failing my English exams didn't make me afraid of failing English. Actually, I didn't care about failing as English class wasn't adding value to my life. I mean, I wasn't really learning English at school. I didn't ask my former English teachers my questions, nor did they pay attention to me. I would just go to class, sit down, and wait until the class was over. I didn't bother looking at my exams to see my grade because I never passed. I remember being embarrassed to read aloud in English class because I was afraid my classmates would make fun of my terrible pronunciation. When I was a child, I absolutely hated my English classes at the school. My former English teachers weren't trying to get me to study English in a way that resonated with me. Instead, they seemed to follow a rigid curriculum that made the language feel dull and uninviting. I often found myself wishing they would just stop trying to get me to learn English, as it seemed like an impossible task. I remember sitting in my desk, feeling overwhelmed by grammar rules and vocabulary lists. Back then, I thought to myself, it's never going to happen, and it doesn't have to. I was convinced that mastering this language was beyond my reach. Fast forward to my adult life, and everything has changed. In my adult life, I discovered the beauty and richness of the English language. I realized that I could either let my fear hold me back, or I could use that fear to move me forward. Every day, I had a choice to embrace the challenge of learning something new or to shy away from it. Will it be hard? Yes. Learning English as an adult comes with its own set of difficulties. Will there be sacrifices? Yes. I've had to dedicate countless hours to studying, often staying up late when I could have been sleeping. For over a year and a half, I committed myself to this journey. I was trying to get on my own, breaking down the barriers that once held me back. Now, I can proudly say that I love learning English. I now have a deep appreciation for the English language. I love learning it and exploring its nuances. I have just as many, if not more people who value my efforts in trying to master English than I ever thought possible. My journey would not have been the same without my parents, who have always been my biggest supporters. I appreciate my parents' support more than I can express. They would follow me anywhere, cheering me on as I embrace this newfound passion. Learning English is great, and I encourage others to follow me in this journey. It's incredible how our perspectives can shift over time, turning what we once disliked into something we cherish.